In this video, I'm going to be telling you about my 2017 spring turkey season. Be sure to check the description below to see articles and videos of my previous deer hunts. Be sure to continue watching this video in order to see footage from the hunt. This spring, two of my friends, Robbie and Logan, and I went hunting one morning, and we got set up and then it started pouring down rain, so we decided to leave. So we came back to the house and waited a couple hours for the rain to stop, and we went out on the same property, and we actually had some turkeys come in, but we couldn't get them close enough in order to shoot. About a week later, we went hunting again on the same property and in the same cornfield, but a little bit different spot. All three of us were hunting in a Yamaha Viking, which is a UTV, and we were backed up against a fence, and there was a tree behind us, and it came over us, and it was overhanging like this, giving us a little bit of cover. And we took a few camo burlap netting, and we put it around the UTV, and we were facing a cornfield where the same turkeys came out the last week that we were hunting. We had a hen decoy set up about 10 or 15 yards in front of us, and within 30 minutes we saw a tom turkey about 100 yards, but it didn't show any interest, and it started walking away, going into the woods. We could still see that tom on the edge of the cornfield, getting ready to go in the woods, and then we started to see a couple turkeys pop up in a little bit different spot, because there was kind of a hill in front of us that went down, and we were trying to check those out, but then we saw a coyote coming in, and we were scared that that coyote would run off the turkeys. But luckily that coyote didn't bother the turkeys, and we really don't know where it went because we were focused on the turkeys. And we looked through the binoculars, and the two turkeys that were coming in, one was a Jake and one was a Tom, and they started to head toward the first turkey that we saw. After those two turkeys went a little ways, the wind picked up, and our hen decoy actually spun around from the wind, and then those two turkeys saw it and started coming our way. At that time, the Tom and Jake were probably about 75 yards away, and we wanted to get the turkeys within at least 25 yards before we shot it. We would make a call to the turkeys and they would reply, and they just kept coming our way. Once they were about 35 yards away, they started to go to our right, and that was a problem because I have trouble shooting to my right. Because I'm right-handed, I can shoot a lot easier to my left because it's just more natural than trying to shoot to my right. I had a homemade shooting table that my dad had made in the UTV that goes over the steering wheel, and on top of the shooting table we had a towel, and then we had a sandbag, and then we had the gun on it. So I had Robbie pull the towel to the right, so that way the gun could be in line with the turkeys that were heading to my right. However, the turkeys started going back the other way to the left where they were in the beginning, so we had to reposition the gun and the towel and everything once again. Being a C5 quadriplegic, I don't have very good use of my fingers. All I have is tenodesis, so I had Robbie turn the safety off for me to shoot, and I told him that I may need to use his shoulder to rest my elbow on, so that way I could get a good stance to shoot. The Tom and Jake were pretty close together, and I wanted to shoot the Tom, but it was behind the Jake, so I had to wait until they separated a little bit, and I waited until that Tom turned around for me to shoot.
Shoot the one in the back. go as soon as I just be very careful. Yeah!
I started pulling my arm back to pull the trigger, and the gun went off, and the Tom fell down, and the Jake flew away, and then we all started yelling, and it was freaking awesome. I think my two friends were more excited than I was at the time because it took a couple days for it to sink in for me. I think this was because it was my second turkey that I ever killed, and it was my first turkey that I killed after becoming paralyzed. It was with two of my friends, and we were all sitting in a UTV in the middle of a cornfield. While we were all yelling, my friend said that he had recorded the hunt on his phone, and I thought that was awesome because I never got to record my own hunt before, and this way we have something to show to people other than just telling the story. My friends sat me on the ground to take pictures with the turkey, and I wanted them to be in the picture as well because it was just as much of their turkey as it was mine. So they put the phone camera on a timer and tied it to a stick, and we all got in the picture. I'd say this is probably my favorite hunt, but I definitely know that it is my most accomplished hunt because I thought it would be impossible to kill a turkey after becoming paralyzed. This was a really cool hunt because we all used teamwork to get the job done. My friend Robbie made sure my finger was off the trigger when he turned the safety off, and I used his shoulder to rest my elbow on to make sure I had a steady shot. And also, my friend Logan recorded the hunt so we could share it with people. This is definitely a memorable hunt, and I'm glad we all got to experience it with each other. Don't forget to tell me about a hunt that you have experienced in the comments below.